hoping will help to represent what our service model is. Again, it's a little simplistic, it doesn't represent everything, but we go through here, we see our unit name, our mission, our core functions, and our service model. It starts with the lowest level down here, or the broadest level down at the bottom, right? Which is one of the key services we provide is project support, right? And it's the first line of support, meaning there is a continuous kind of project support that we provide to projects. So if we read the dot here, first line of technical assistance to projects across all PIQAL core functions. Project design support, day-to-day backstopping, and this role is a member of the project or country support teams. So this is the role that many of you all play, especially the technical advisors, SI technical advisors, play in providing kind of day-to-day continuous backstopping support to projects, right? It's a really, really critical and huge part of the services that PIQAL provides, and it's important to distinguish that from the second line of support. The first line of support is continuous. There's a continuity of support. That person is a single point of contact, right, with the field, and covers all stages of the life cycle for a particular project, right? We'll talk a little bit about the differences in a bit. Second line of support, which is the next level up here on the triangle, represents another layer of project support, but this is what we're calling second line support, or more of a demand-based kind of support, right? So the second line of TA to projects is on an ad hoc basis, tends to be time-bound, demand-driven or demand basis, delivered by a person, team, or sometimes organized into a task force, and is always coordinated through the first line, right? So you have your technical advisor who's providing the day-to-day support, and for all sorts of different reasons, you may need a second line of support, right? And that second line of support would have to be mobilized and kind of deployed, if you will. But it's meant to be time-bound, it's meant to be demand-driven, and it's meant to be coordinated in coordination with the first line, right?
Can I just clarify this one too? We're using TAs here in a couple of different ways. And so in this case, I think the second line support could be what we're calling our technical advisors that are stepping in right now. I mean, Jason's helped review some of the information system requirements for Zambia, for example, or they could be the officers. And so when we're saying TA here, it's technical assistants without any respect to what the job title of the
doesn't mean
individual
technical
is.
advisors, it means technical assistants, right? Okay. Then the third level, or third type of service we provide is at the portfolio level. And this is going to be a little different than what we've been doing. We do have focal points right now. You guys are focal points, especially Jason and Mindy, are focal points with different 3H teams, right? But the linkages with TSST is really, we need to do better at that. We need to find a way to collaborate more and link much more directly with TSST. Technical quality goes hand in hand with especially with M&E research, right? And documentation. And so these things have to go hand in hand. So by portfolio support, we're meaning that this person who plays this role is actually almost embedded with the technical team, right? And in this case, we're talking about 4 areas: health, hunger, hardship, and gender, right? And they actively collaborate together on things like measurement, research agendas, quality standards, right? Documentation and dissemination around technical information, and here including facilitating access to data to inform or to help strengthen TSST's technical assistance to projects. When TSST people go out to the field, they need to know what is happening in the project, right? Rather than going and then trying to figure out what's happening in the project, sort of disconnected to the actual data. So this kind of role, we're saying, is actually going to be a much more direct link to TSST, kind of going a bit beyond what we've been doing up until this point. And we'll talk more about all this in a bit. Organizational initiatives, this is at the tip of the triangle, right? So this is related to a couple different types of things. One is a set of PIQAL-led initiatives. So I've listed some examples here of initiatives that we within PIQAL actually lead and implement, right? That's not necessarily specific to a project, as well as strategic initiatives. And various people here, many of us are involved in different BATs and goal teams and different kinds of strategic initiatives as well. So that's what we mean by organizational initiatives, and that's one of the ways we provide support at an organizational level. On the other side of the triangle, you have something that's more cross-cutting across all of these different tiers or layers. And that's this is signifying sort of more of the enabling environment side, right? So creating an enabling environment and efficiency through developing, rolling out, training, facilitating uptake of things like standards, policies and procedures, systems, different platforms like we have Atlas and other things like that, tools and guidelines, and capacity strengthening around those areas. So the service model shows that we within PIQAL provide services and engage in all these different kinds of ways. In some ways, it's like specific to a project across a life cycle. In some ways, it's cross-cutting across all levels of the organization. It's focused not only on good project support, but also on strengthening the organization, right? So there's these kind of two dimensions. We'll get to team structure in a little bit, but that's what we mean by the service model, okay?